to drive my car ever. He's not allowed to drive my car ever. Make sure I know he's not.
Lights are dimming. Should we just start?
Hi, thanks for coming. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's performance of the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged. Before we get underway, I have a few brief announcements. The use of any recording device, audio, or video is strictly prohibited. For your convenience, toilets are located in the lobby. Please take a second to locate the exit nearest your seat.
Now, if the theater should experience a sudden loss of pressure, oxygen mask will drop in the seat. Please remember to place the oxygen mask directly over your nose and mouth and continue to breathe normally. Like so. Now, if you're attending the theater with a small child, please make sure you place your oxygen mask on first and let the little bugger cut first. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Molly Norris, and tonight my partners and I are going to attempt a feat which we believe unprecedented in the theater, and that is into one night capture the magic, the genius, the towering grandeur of the complete works of William Shakespeare.
Now, we have a lot to get through tonight, folks, so now I'd like to introduce one of America's most preeminent Shakespearean scholars. He is a senior in high school, where he's taking one Shakespearean class, and I believe he has read seven books on Shakespeare. He's here tonight to provide a brief preface to the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged. Please welcome me in welcoming Red Kratzky.
Thank you, Kate. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. William Shakespeare, everyone. Playwright, poet, actor, philosopher. A man whose literary genius has had an immeasurably profound influence upon the consciousness and culture of the entire English-speaking world. And yet, how much do we inhabitants of the 21st century really know and appreciate the tremendous body of work contained just in this single volume? Too little, I would argue. So, to help me illustrate this point, I would like to conduct a brief poll amongst our audience tonight. How many of you have ever read any play at all by William Shakespeare? Any play at all? Oh my God. I know my maybe we should leave.
They don't know Shakespeare, so don't. Just go on.
What should I do? Narrow it down. Narrow it down.
Let's see if we can narrow it down a bit, shall we? How many of you have ever read, say, All's Well That Ends Well? Ha! That seems to be separating the wheat from the chaff rather nicely. Now, let's see who the real Shakespeare trivia champs are tonight. How many of you have ever read King John? King John, anyone? Oh, come on! Oh yeah, really? What's it about? This is exactly what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Oh right, you laugh, you scoff. But let he among you who is free from sin live in a glass house. For that face, ladies and gentlemen, that face represents all your faces. Those empty brains are your empty brains, excuse me. Those glazed eyes are your glazed eyes, ladies and gentlemen. These teeth are your teeth, ladies and gentlemen, and they cry out, floss me! Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that our society's collective capacity to understand, much less attain the genius of William Shakespeare has been systematically shrunken by sitcoms, sodomized by soap operas, and reamed by Rush Limbaugh. But have no fear, your intellectual salvation is here.
Amen.
We descend among you on a mission from God and the literary muse to help spread the holy word of the bar to the masses. To help you take those first halting steps out of the quagmire of Regis and Kelly, Jon Stewart and Oprah, Tyra Banks, and into the future. A glorious future. A future where manly men wear pink tights with pride. A future where this book will be found in every hotel room in the world. This is my dream, ladies and gentlemen, and it begins here tonight. So, join us in taking those first small steps toward the brave new world of intellectual redemption by opening your hearts and your pocketbooks. Now, we'll simply charge your donations to your Visa or MasterCard by voting us right now. Give us your cash if we be friends, and deduct it when the tax year ends. All right, everybody, on with the show, and may the bard be with you. Thank you, and hallelujah!
You know that it's not complete without at least a brief biography of the life of William Shakespeare. Here to present this portion of the show is our final member of the troupe. Please help me in welcoming Miss Kara Gopin. Oh my gosh, Kara, wait, let me
No. Don't stop me. Go in order.
Okay, we'll just start when you're ready.
Hey, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Kara Gopin, and I've just been taking some notes on William Shakespeare so you could, know all the stuff he did, and we could get the show off to a good start and everything.
Get on with it.
Right, no. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in the town of Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire. The third of 8 children, he was the eldest son of John Shakespeare, a locally prominent merchant, and Mary Arden, daughter of a Roman Catholic member of the landed gentry. In 1582, he married Anne Hathaway, a farmer's daughter. You know that joke about the guy and the farmer's daughter when he's carving stone? The Shakespeare was supposed to have left Stratford after he was caught poaching in the deer park of local justice of the peace. He arrived in London in 1588, and by 1592 he had achieved success as an actor and a playwright. After 1608, however, his dramatic production lessened, and it seems that he spent more time in Stratford. There he dictated to his secretary, Rudolf Hess, the work Mein Kampf, in which he set forth his program for the restoration of Germany to a dominant position in Europe. After reoccupying the Rhineland zone between France and Germany, and annexing Austria, the Sudetenland, and the remainder of Czechoslovakia, Shakespeare invaded Poland in September 1939, thus precipitating World War II. Shakespeare remained in Berlin when the Russians entered the city, and he committed suicide with his mistress, Eva Peron. He lies buried at Stratford. Thank you.
Without further ado, we are glad to present the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. One man in his time plays many parts. How true. Where better to start our exploration of one of English's greatest playwrights than in Verona, Italy, the setting for one of his most beloved plays, Romeo and Juliet. Of course, it would be impossible to portray all of the major roles of Romeo and Juliet with just 6 actors. That's why we're using 2. That's right. Glenn and TJ will be portraying all of the major roles of Romeo and Juliet. Will I come in with bits of narration? After much textual research and analysis, we've decided to begin our abbreviated version of Romeo and Juliet with the prologue.
2 households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured, piteous overthrows do, with their death, bury their parents' strife.
Samson. Their anchor fueled by an ancient feud, for one serves Capulet, and the other Montague.
Oh, that's right. It's like
Big brother,
in the morning.
Oh, I hate him. His family hate him. All hates to talk.
Oh, do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir, I do but bite my thumb.
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I do bite my thumb. Do you quarrel, sir?
Well, sir, no, sir.
Very good, sir, but if you do, sir, I serve as good a man as you.
No better.
Yes, better.
You lie!
Rebellious subjects, enemies to the peace.
Oh no, it's the prince. Sorry, the character formerly known as Prince.
Come you this afternoon. Benvolio will come you later to know our father pleasure on this case.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Why, glad I am he was not at this fray. Oh, but see, he comes! Shall be much denied. Good morrow, cuz.
Is the day so young?
But new struck not.
Aye, sad hours seem long.
What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Out of love?
Out of her favor where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should appear so rough and tyrannous and rude.
Alas, that love whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his ruin. Oh.
Go ye to the feast of Capulets. There sups the fair Rosalind whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither and compare her face with some that I shall show, and I shall make thee think thy swan a crow.
I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own.
Now to the feast of the Capulet, where Romeo's doomed to meet his Juliet, and in a scene of timeless romance, he'll try to get into Juliet's pants. Ben, stop messing with my notes!
La 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 la.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. Did my heart love till now, or swear its sight, or ne'er saw true beauty till this night? If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine as this, my lips to blushing pilgrim stand, ready to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hands too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints of hands the pilgrim's hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have saints not lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, good pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Then let lips do what hands do.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Well, then move not when my prayer's effect I take.
Then from thy lips thy sin that they have put.
Sin from my lips, oh trust and I speak the word. Give me my sin again.
Don't let this you, man.
Look, it's in the script. It's on board.
It's by the book. Oh, come in, mother.
Is she a Capulet? I so I fear the more so when I rest.
It smells under here, man.
The balcony scene.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks?
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Defy thy father, refuse thy name. For if thou wilt not, be but sworn, my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. What's in a name, anyway? That which we call a nose by any other name would still smell. Oh, Romeo, doff thy name, which is no part of thee. Take all thyself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I shall be new baptized. Henceforth I shall never be Romeo.
What did you say?
Call me but love, and I shall be new baptized.
Call you butt love. You're butt love. Butt love, butt love, butt love, butt love, butt love. What man art thou? Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike.
Dost thou love me then? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet, if thou swearest, thou mayest prove false. O Romeo, if thou dost love me, pronounce it faithfully.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon I swear.
Oh, swear not by the moon.
Then what should I swear by?
There's a lady over there.
Lady, by yonder blessed virgin I swear.
No, I don't think so. No, do not swear at all. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash, too sudden, too unadvised, too like the lightning, which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. Sweet, good night. Yo, butler! Over here.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou
The
have?
exchange of thy love's faithful vows for mine.
Gavest thou mine before thou didst request it? No. Sorry, second basis for second date, sweetie. That goes for all you girls out there, too. Be like Juliet. 3 words, gentle Romeo, and then good night indeed. If thy love be true, thy honorable marriage, send word tomorrow. Oh, good night, everyone. Oh, good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Really it is, big boy.
My breast. Oh, that I were sleep in peace, so sweet to rest.
Lo, Romeo did swoon with love. By Cupid he'd been crippled. But Juliet had a loathsome coz, whose loathsome name was Tybalt.
Romeo, the love I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain, therefore turn and draw.
Tybalt, I do protest. I never injured thee, but love thee more than thou canst devise.
Oh, thou wretched boy, I am for you. Oh, I am slain.
Skip the whole... Just go to the part where they die. From Tybalt's death onwards, the lovers are cursed. Despite the best efforts of friar and nurse, their fate pursues them. They can't seem to duck it, and at the end of Act 5, they both take the bucket.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, and bring in cloudy night immediately. Oh, come night, come civil night. Oh, come Romeo, thou day and night. Oh, come gentle night. Oh, come loving black-browed night. Oh, come, night, 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 night. I didn't write it. And bring me my Romeo. Oh, it is my nurse. How now, nurse? What news? Alack the day, he's gone, he's killed, he's dead. Can heaven be so envious? Oh, Romeo, who would have thought it? Romeo, Romeo. Such a dismal torture should be roared in dismal hell. Ah! Hath Romeo slain himself? Oh,
God save it here in his manly breast.
Is Tybalt slain, thy dearest cousin and thy dearer lord? Then dreadful trumpet sound the general doom!
No, Juliet, no. Tybalt is slain, Romeo is banished. Romeo that has slain Tybalt, he is banished.
Oh God! Did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood?
It did alive day and day!
Now Tybalt's dead. Who would have slain my husband? Well, that's good, isn't it? I said, isn't that good?
Great.
Damn straight. And me and Romeo are soon to be wed. That's good too, right? So why do I still feel like crap? It's not a good day for Juliet. It's an icky, icky, poo-poo, caca, weevils, balls, potato, fall-down day! Oh, Friar, Romeo is banished and Tybalt is slain. What should I do?
Juliet, I already know of thy grief. Here, take it out of this vial, and of this distilled liquor, drink it thou offer. And presently through all of thy veins shall run a cold and a drowsier humor.
Thank you, Obi-Wan. Oh, I feel a cold and a drowsy humor running through my veins.
Told her yourself.
Hey, this feels kinda nice. Oh no! I'm Lindsay Lohan after a rough night!
Oh no, my love, my wife! Death hath sucked the honey of thy breath, hath yet no power upon thy beauty. Oh, Juliet, why art thou so fair?
I don't know, just lucky, I guess.
Am I to believe that unsubstantial death is amorous to keep thee here in the dark? Here's to my love. Oh, true apothecary, thy drugs are quick. Thus with a kiss I die.
Not gonna do it, man!
Thus with a kiss I die.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, where is my love? Oh, no, my love! Oh, he's gone, he's dead! Oh, he's gone, he's dead! What's this? A cup closed in my true love's hand? Poison I see hath been his timely end. Oh, churl, drunk all of them, no friendly drop to help me after! Then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger, this is thy sheath! Farewell, and let me die!
A glooming peace this morning with it brings. A sun for sorrow will not show its head. Go forth and speak more of these sad things. Some will be pardoned, and some punished. For never was there a story of more woe than that of Juliet and her Romeo.
Thank you, Wembley, and good night!
Ladies and gentlemen, in coming up with this unprecedented complete work show, we've come across a bit of a problem. How to make these musty 400-year-old plays accessible to the modern audience. One popular trend is to transpose Shakespeare's plays into modern settings. We've seen examples of this set in such bizarre locations such as the lunar landscape, Nazi concentration camps, and even New Jersey. In this vein, we have traced the roots of Shakespearean symbolism, the context of a pre-Nietzschean society, to the totality of Jean circular relationship of form, contrasted with the complete otherness of the metaphysical cosmologies and the ethical mores entrenched on the collective subconsciousness of an Hungarian race. They told me to say backstage. So now we present Shakespeare's first tragedy, Titus Andronicus, as a cooking show. Good evening, boys, and welcome to Roman Fields. I am your host, Titus Andronicus. Now, when you've had a long day and your right hand chopped off, your son's murdered, your daughter raped, her hands cut off, her tongue cut out, well, the last thing you want to do is cook. Of course, you cook the rapist and serve him to his
side. Now, who will be first to try this delicious treat? Welcome, gracious Lord. Welcome, dread King. Wilt thou please eat? Wilt thou please feed? It's finger licking good. Well, we're just about out of time, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to catch next week when our guest chef, Timon of Athens, makes ratatouille out of the merry wives of Windsor. Until then, bon appetit!
Well, I hope no one was too offended by Titus Andronicus. Shakespeare, as a young writer, seemed to have gone through a bit of a blood and gore phase. No doubt he would be alive today. He'd be in Hollywood working on Titus Andronicus 9, Just Desserts. But now we shall move on to explore the genius evident in Shakespeare's more mature plays, as we present his dark and brooding tragedy, Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Speak of me as I am, but let nothing accentuate of one who loved not wisely, but too well. For never was there a story of more woe than that of Othello and his Desdemona. Oh, Desi!
I'm sorry, everyone. We left Jake on his own moor in the dictionary and thought it was a place where you tied up boats.
Which in this context is completely ridiculous, because in the 16th century the word Moor referred to someone of African descent.
Feel like such a dork.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we obviously have a bit of a problem in performing Othello, the Moor of Venice for you tonight, since the play is written for
Well, we just don't have the necessary characteristics to portray the character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm white. But I could go tanning. No, and then I'd get all orange. And then I might get skin cancer. And then I might die.
So the bottom line is,
We're crackers.
so due to physical limitations, we can't perform Othello, the Moor of Venice. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, we're not. So we'll just move on. God, because we're white.
That's exactly what it means, Jake.
I have this really good idea.
Oh, like that boat.
It's better than the boat.
Really, Jake? The last idea wasn't that good.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just start a
Seriously?
Should I just snap or something?
Okay. So here's the story about a brother named Othello. He liked white women and he liked green jello.
Okay. Venice, because he didn't like Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Okay, all right.
So Othello got married to Desdemona.
But he took up for the wars and he left her alone.
It was a Mona.
A Rhoda.
He left her alone.
Well, he didn't write the letter and he didn't telephone.
Oh, Othello loves Desdemona.
He left the military, had a big sword.
He was sort of a fiend.
You say,
I know his tragic flaws that he's too damn good. I need a kind of a small. And he plans on being Desdemona's handkerchief.
So Othello gets the order, just maybe if, or even how fighting.
Commanding an army.
Are Desi and Cassie playing hide with salami? And he thinks he's pulled it off without a hitch.
There's Amelia and the door.
When we meet in that fort,
She weren't no more. She was.
Pure,
She was.
free,
She was.
virginal too. So why can't you go and make a face turn blue?
and Othello say,
It's getting pretty scary.
so he pulled out his blade and committed Harry Carey.
Diego got caught, but he probably got to bleed.
Loaded up his bag.
And Mr. Beverly.
Pills, that is. Africa!
Why don't we take a break from all heavy tragedy for a while and move on to comedies?
Yeah, great, guys. You see, when it came to the comedies, Shakespeare was a genius at borrowing literary devices from previous theatrical traditions.
Oh, that's right. These influences include the Roman plays of Terence and Plautus, Ovid's Metamorphoses, which are hysterically funny, not, and the rich Italian tradition of commedia dell'arte.
Basically, Shakespeare stole everything he ever wrote.
Whoa. Stole's kind of a strong word. Distilled, maybe?
Okay, then he distilled the 5 or 6 best comic gimmicks of his time.
You see, Shakespeare was a formula writer, so naturally, when he found a formula that worked for him, he used it. Over and over and over again. So, Mr. Shakespeare, the question that we have is this. Why did you write 16 comedies when you could have just written one?
In answer
The Tempest knows as much as you...
Or
4 Weddings and a Transvestite.
Comedy!
Comedy.
Act 1. A Spanish duke swears an oath of celibacy and turns the rule of his kingdom over to his sadistic and tyrannical twin brother. He lives some fantastical feats of magic and sets sail for the golden age of Greece, along with his daughters, 3 beautiful and virginal sets of identical twins. While rounding the heel of Italy, the duke's ship is caught in a terrible tempest, which, in its fury, casts the duke up on a desert island, along with the loveliest and most virginal of his daughters. This innocent vision of loveliness stumbles into a dark cave, where she is molested by an inhuman green monster, who symbolizes the extreme right wing of the Republican Party.
The long-lost children of the Duke's brother, also coincidentally 3 sets of identical twins, have just arrived in Italy. Though still possessed of inner nobility, they are poor, ragged, penniless, destitute, flea-infested shadows of the men they once were. And in the utmost extremity, they are forced to borrow money from an old Jew, who deceives them into putting their brains down as collateral on the loan. Meanwhile, the 6 brothers fall in love with 6 Italian sisters, 3 of whom are contentious, sharp-tongued little shrews, while the other 3 are submissive, arrogant bimbos.
Act 3. The shipwrecked identical daughters of the Duke wash up on the shores of Italy, disguise themselves as men, and become pages to the shrews, and matchmakers to the Duke's brother sons. They lead all the lovers into a nearby forest where on a midsummer's night, a bunch of mischievous fairies squeeze the aphrodisiac juice of the hermaphroditic flower into the shrews' eyes, causing them to fall in love with their own pages, who in turn fall in love with the Duke's brother's sons. While the queen of the fairies seduces a jackass, and they all have a lovely bisexual animalistic orgy.
Act 4. The elderly fathers of the Italian sisters, finding their daughters missing, dispatch messages to the pages telling them to kill any man in the vicinity.
However, unable to find any men in the forest, the messengers, in a final, misguided act of loyalty, deliver the messages to each other and kill themselves.
Meanwhile, the fish creature and the Duke arrive in the forest disguised as Russians, and for no apparent reason perform a 2-man underwater version of Uncle Vanya.
Act 5. Men's face, right their wrongs.
The pages and the bimbos get into a knockdown, drag-out fight in the mud.
During which the pages' clothes get ripped off, revealing their female genitalia.
The Duke recognizes his daughters.
Oh, the sons recognize their uncle.
The magician turns the monster into a newt, who becomes the speaker of the house.
And they all get married and go out to dinner.
Except for a minor character in the second act who gets eaten by a bear, and the Duke's brother sons who are unable to pay back the old Jew and are forced to give themselves the bodies.
And they all live happily ever after.
Now, everybody, we're going to be moving on to the rest of Shakespeare's tragedies because basically we found out that the comedies aren't half as funny as the tragedies are. Take, for example, his Scottish play, Macbeth.
Jane, you can see that!
Are you kidding me, Jane?
Sorry.
Are you? Oh my God, I can't. We're Whoa! Rachel.
Sorry. Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
there's this thing, if you say Macbeth in a theater, it's cursed, and to undo the curse, you have to spin around 3 times, like so, and by the end of the oh my God! Every time. There's another one where you spin around once and then just spit over your shoulder. Well, fortunately, however, we not only perform an abbreviated version of Macbeth, but Jane.
baby, that's thinking with your dipstick. Know that I was from my mother's womb untimely ripped. What do you think about that?
Ah, bloody disgusting. Lay on, you great hag of space.
Ah, Macbeth, he killed my wife, he murdered my babies, he was doing my stew.
I can die.
Oh yeah, he did. I had to throw half of it away. Usurper's head. Macbeth, your ass is out the windy. And know that there was never more a tale of blood and death than of this, of Mr. and Mrs. Macbeth. Thank you.
Julius Caesar was a much beloved tyrant.
Hail, citizens.
All hail Julius Caesar! Who was warned by a soothsayer. Beware the Ides of March! The great Caesar, however, chose to ignore the warning.
What the hell are the Ides of March?
15th of March!
Why, that's today.
You're right!
A2, Brute.
Ha! Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me our ears. I come to bury Caesar. So bury him and let's get on to my play. Anthony!
And Cleopatra. Is this an asp I see before me? Shakespeare's geopolitical plays?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. If I'd have known that, I never would have screwed around with it. His geopolitical stuff is like my favorite work.
Oh, I bet.
Sure.
You know, like the themes he wrote about 400 years ago are still totally relevant today. You know, like that one he wrote about how nuclear energy affected the Soviet Union?
Kara, Shakespeare never wrote anything about the Soviet Union.
No, he totally did. It was called Chernobyl Kinsman. That's it.
Oh, what's about?
Okay, well, it's about like this nuclear reactor that melts down and pollutes all the air and water in the neighboring kingdoms and everything, except for the king of Chernobyl like denies that it ever happened, even though the peasants are like growing second heads and weird stuff like that. Oh, and then in the second act, this radioactive like cloud floats over the New World and creates like this genetically mutated race of TV evangelists that end up taking over the city and then.
Kara, what are you talking about?
Chernobyl Kinsman, that
No,
maybe
Kara.
I haven't heard of it, but
Shakespeare wrote a play called Two Noble Kinsmen.
Not sure.
Two noble kinsmen.
1, 2.
well, what's that about?
It's about a girl who's afraid that her boyfriend's going to be eaten by wolves and her father hanged.
Well, is there anything in it, like about Boris Yeltsin?
Okay, I'm not really surprised you haven't heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe I should explain. Two Noble Kinsmen actually falls into the category of Shakespeare's plays known as the Apocrypha, or in some scholarly circles, the obscure plays, the lesser plays, or simply the bad plays. However, not all of these plays are completely without merit. One of them, Troilus and Cressida, is hardly crap at all. I discuss it at some length in my new book entitled I Love My Willie. Would you like to leave off?
Why do you put it there? Yeah, I guess we could do like a performance art interpretive dance.
Yeah, I love performance art. It's so like pretentious. And we could use Troilus and Cressida as a jumping off point to explore deeper themes like the transit nature of life and the mythology involved in the rising and dissipation of forms.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay, okay.
To the prompts!
Guys! I was actually thinking of a straightforward scholarly approach to this one.
Now screw that.
Troilus and Cressida was written in 1603, Porto in 1604. Line longer than the second Sully edition of 1645. Some 166 lines shorter. Ladies and gentlemen, my way is not
Oh my God, Godzilla! They say you got to go, Godzilla!
I actually discuss in depth that a theory that maybe Shakespeare's plays were written by a monkey at a typewriter.
Wait, isn't there something about the plot in there?
Of course there's something about the plot. What kind of a scholar do you think I am?
Why don't we go there?
Okay, I discussed the plot in depth on the footnote on the bottom of page 29. Troilus, youngest son of Priam, king of Troy.
Okay, wait, TJ, you can be Troilus and you can be the king.
Okay, sounds good. Great, loves Cressida.
I'll get the wig!
And is arranged with her uncle Pandarus for meeting. Although she feigns indifference, she's actually attracted. Meanwhile, Agamemnon, Greek commander of the Trojans.
Did you say Agamemnon?
No. This is the kind of stuff that people don't like to study in school because it's so boring.
Yeah, like as soon as you said Agamemnon, I was asleep.
No, I'm sorry, everyone. I told these guys before we went on, I will not do dry, boring, vomitless Shakespeare for these people because it'll just turn you on to Shakespeare. I mean, that's what happened to me. When I was a little kid in school, I used to just sit there all day and stare out the window at sports and think to myself, why can't this Shakespeare stuff be more like sports?
You like sports? I don't get it. No one plays. What are you talking about?
Well, sports are visceral, they're fun to watch. Well, like, take the histories, for example. With all those kings and queens killing each other off and passing the crown from one throne to the next. It's kind of like football, only to do with a crown.
I totally get it. Let's kick some royal butt! 25, 42, Richard III, Henry VI, 1, 2, 3,
The crown is snapped to Richard II, that well-known 14th century monarch. He's looking for an air downfield, and there's a heavy rush from King John.
my gross flesh sinks downwards!
Here, Henry VI is the greatest!
But he's hit by King John there. He's down. This could be the end of the War of the Roses cycle. King John is in the clear.
My soul hath elbow room.
Now the
Place number 54, King Lear.
Divide your kingdom in three. Cordelia, you go long.
Wait! Fictional character on the field. Lear's disqualified. Happy about it.
Up next, that famous father-son team of Henry IV, Prince Hal. Center snaps to the quarterback. Quarterback gives to the hunchback. Looks like Richard III is giving him to the heart. There's a pile of ground.
Bumble! And Henry VIII comes up with it. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10. He's out to the 5 to chop off his wife's head. Touchdown for the Red Rose! Oh, you guys are the beginning of the Tudor dynasty. Henry V, Richard III, the whole family's great and absurd, especially Charles. Yeah! Yeah!
We are definitely going to the Super Bowl!
Karen, what you got there?
I just picked up a program for this. I think we might have done all the plays already.
Really?
Yeah, we might actually be able to let you guys out a little early tonight.
That'd be great.
Let's let you look, guys, because we did all the histories just now.
And we covered the comedies of the law.
Right?
All right, that just leads to tragedies. If we did Titus Andronicus with all the blood.
Troilus and Cressida, Romeo and Juliet.
Macbeth was with the Scottish accents.
Right.
Lear was in the football game.
Uh-huh.
What about Anthony P. Paltrow?
Oh, yeah, because I vomited on these people over here.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim of Athens. What about Coriolanus?
Oh, no, I don't want to do that one.
What's wrong with Coriolanus?
I don't like the anus part. Offensive. I mean, I don't want anyone to get in my way.
So we skip the anus boy.
All right.
About that.
So that's it, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's it.
What?
Oh no! Hamlet!
How could we forget
I
Hamlet?
don't know what's right there.
Shakespeare or Hamlet?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, 36 plays down and 1 to go. Perhaps the greatest play ever written in the English language. A play of such lofty, poetic, and philosophic.
Wait, Molly. Hamlet is a serious Right.
So we're gonna do Hamlet now, right?
She's crazy.
I'm sorry, everyone. She does this all the time. Hamlet's still on. Don't worry. Still doing Hamlet.
Time for your shot.
So, we're gonna do this on Hamlet, so we'll need Ricardo and Horatio.
Right, and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
No. Don't play. We can skip.
Oh, I guess it's fun.
I'll kill this kid! I'll kill him!
Love a good monster. Yeah, monster! Okay. Anyway, I bet you're all wondering where Rachel is. Actually, Jake called from the Middlesex airport. She was trying to catch a flight out of here. But anyway, they said, until they get back, I should cover the sonnets. Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets, which I've condensed onto this 3x5 card here, right here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you the card, you'll take it, read it, enjoy it, then you'll pass it to the person next to you, and so on, and back and forth, until we get to you, and then hopefully Rachel will be back by then. So I'll just give you the card. Here's It's beautiful. That's good. Yeah.
She's crazy! It's got so many words and so big! Make her so cry!
Okay, I'll take her backstage. I'll take her. I bet Lawrence Olivier doesn't have to deal with this. Well, not anymore anyway. Bob, can I get some mood lighting out here for perhaps the greatest play ever written in the English language? Oh, thank you. Hamlet, tragedy of the Prince of Denmark. The place? Denmark. The time? The 12th, maybe the 13th century, give or take. Act 1, Scene 1. Elsinore Castle. 2 guards enter. Who goes there?
Nay, stand and not bold thyself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He. 'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Horatio.
for this relief, much thanks.
Well, good night.
But look where it comes!
Morgan! It would be spoke to!
What man art thou? By heaven, I sharply speak! It is gone.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
Break we off our watch, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto
Hamlet, Prince of Denmark!
Rachel, that's your cue!
No, Ben, don't make me go out there.
Come on.
Ben, no, please
Come on,
don't.
be a big girl, come on, let's go,
Ben,
come on, get over here, come on,
Ow. Ow, now, brown cow. Cow. Oh, that the too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, that it should come to this, 2 months dead, so loving to my mother. Frailty, thy name is a woman! Yeah, you, married to mine uncle, my father's brother. Thy funeral baked meat stood coldly, furnish forth thy marriage table! Marriage table!
My lord!
Horatio! Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
My lord, I think I saw him yesterday. yesternight.
Saw who?
The king, your father.
The king, my father? But where was this?
Upon the ramparts where we watched.
Very strange. All is not well. Perchance I will walk again tonight. Oh, that night were come. Air by truly, it is very cold.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Mark me!
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear? If ever didst thy dear father love revenge his foul and most unnatural murder? The serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown. Let not the royal bed of Denmark become a couch for insects. Adieu, Hamlet! Remember me!
My lord, 'tis very strange.
There are greater things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are jumped up in your philosophy. So, piss off. I hereafter shall think meet to put an end to this position on. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to exit right!
Neither a borrower nor a lender be. How now, Ophelia? What is the matter?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with this doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, pale as his shirt, with his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and perfid as if he had been loosed from hell to speak of horrors. He comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
I know not.
Why, this is the very ecstasy. I have found the cause of Hamlet's lunacy, and since brevity is the soul of wit, I shall be brief. He is mad. Look, where the poor wretch comes breathing. Away, I do beseech you. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Dismount. Well, God mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
What do you mean, my lord?
Words, words, words.
Though this be madness, there's method in it.
Hey, Daddy, some players are here, and they want to talk to you right away. I don't know what they want, but they say you better hurry, so they... Daddy, I said hurry.
I am but mad. North-northwest, when the wind is southerly. I know a hawk from a handsaw. I'll have these players play something like the death of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, and if he do blench, I know my course. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king! To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take up arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep, or to just take a little nap and hope you wake up in time for dinner, because you've got to serve guacamole to 12, and you just cannot take the pressure of this speech. I can't do it. I need to run. Get up.
Bella and Edward.
Bella and Edward! He sparkles!
You see, everyone, Bella's a high school girl who's in love with a vampire named Edward who's made out of pop rocks, but she's also in love with a and at the end of the book, Edward leaves her at the prom.
It's the forest!
Sorry.
Yeah. So we're just gonna skip this speech because we think it's kind of lame, and we think it weakens the character because she's supposed to be taking revenge on her uncle, but pretending to kill herself instead, I guess.
Maybe we should just skip to the play sequence. Yeah.
No, wait, because what about that other Hamlet speech? I don't think we
Oh,
should
the what a piece of work is a man speech. Okay, well, there's this one speech that goes...
Edward, don't leave me! Edward, no! No!
He's running away.
Edward, no! Come back! Edward, he came back for me!
Right, well, there's this one speech that goes... I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all mind, forgone all custom of exercise, and to go so heavily with my disposition, that this goodly frame seems to me a sterile promontory. What an excellent canopy the air, look you, this brave, o'erhanging firmament, this majestic roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, no, nor woman neither.
We're just gonna skip that part. Right to the killing stuff.
Okay.
No, I can't do that scene right now. I'm not in the right mindset.
Okay, we have to do it. It's central to the plot.
See, maybe you don't understand Jake, but Ophelia's a really complicated character, and I wouldn't be able to do it right now because I'm not in the right mindset, okay?
She's actually pretty easy. I don't understand what you're talking
Actually, Molly, she's not. She's really complicated. Like, I
about.
just said.
Anybody can play that part.
No, they could
My
not.
mom could play that part.
She could not.
Here, do you remember that monkey on stage earlier?
Yeah, that's funny.
They could play that part. Yeah, that lady, right there. She could play that part.
She could
Well,
not.
let's get her to do it then.
Oh, no.
It's giving me
No.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Can we ask you for your name first of all?
Actually?
Do you mind if we call you Bob? Sure. Easy to remember. Okay, Bob. So Hamlet's had this relationship with Ophelia for a long time now. But what's been going on with his mother and his father and his uncle and yada yada yada. He's had it good.
Okay, he's being a prick.
He basically tells her to get out of his life. So in our version of this, Hamlet says, "Get thee to a nunnery," and Ophelia screams. That's all you have to do.
Okay, there's
Scream.
a lot more to it.
So right here, center stage, up here, over here.
Right there. Oh, right there.
Very good,
Oh,
good,
yeah,
good.
Right there. She's muted.
Okay, are you ready?
I think she would do it great. Yeah.
That's funny.
Thank you. That's true.
Anyway.
I'd rather see her do it.
Are you ready now? What? You are? Okay, ready? Okay. Get thee to a nunnery!
Strange.
I mean, like, I don't mean to be catty or anything, but you're obviously not an actress, and it's so I mean, Ophelia's a really complicated character, like I said, and in order to even comprehend her part, you'd have to understand everything going on inside her head, which you obviously didn't.
Actors use what they call a subtext, Bob.
Or like
Exactly. And that's exactly what you didn't have. The way your performance is totally flat, one-dimensional. Okay, you know what? Well, I guess you should heart. Like courage, maybe. A lot of what Shakespeare would call, like, chutzpah.
flighty. It's confused. It's an ego on the run.
Okay, Bob. So, is it okay if we call you Bob? Bob's so much easier to remember. So, Bob too. All right, we'd like you to symbolize this by running across the stage in front of Ophelia. Okay, could you do that for us? Okay, just start right now. Just go, 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 go,
Wow, we got a bit of an egomaniac there, huh? Well, this section down here, you're going to be Ophelia's it. Her it is sort of, it's confused, it's flighty, it's a wash in a sea of alternatives. So you guys are gonna put your arms up like this. Put your arms up. You, sir, put your arms up. You're gonna wave them back and forth like this. There we go. There. Now you're gonna kind of undulate like this. Your body around. Okay, now undulate, and you're gonna say, maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. You say, hey, wait a minute.
What was with you, man? You weren't even participating with the rest of the group. I didn't hear you. You can try very hard. Maybe you can try harder this time. All right, ready, everybody? You're going to have to do it all by yourself.
Stand up, you guys.
No one's watching.
Come on, let's go. Get up.
In the falsetto, remember.
Maybe not.
I feel so much love in this room. I think we should get everybody else to be Ophelia's superego. The superego is the final psychological component. It's made up of those deep, really strong voices that tell you exactly what to do. They're very strong, very difficult to shake. Some people never shake them in their entire lives.
Kind of like Catholicism.
Right. Like part of the psyche.
Yeah, I think I have this really good idea. I think we should. Yeah, another good idea. Okay, we're going to divide the superego into 3 parts. So this section over here, you're going to be section A. This section, you're going to be section B. And this section over here, you're going to be section
Section 8. Now, you'll be the masculine part of Ophelia's brain. The animus, so to speak. So we're going to have you use Hamlet's line for this. So all you got to do is scream, "Get thee to a nunnery," as loud as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Get thee to a nunnery. Yeah!
That's okay, but you need to be very loud, very strident. Section A again. 1, 2, 3.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Okay, so section B, you guys are going to be the voice of vanity saying, for God's sake, do something with yourself. Put on some makeup or something.
He does not mean that personally.
So to symbolize this, I'd like you guys to all say pain an inch thick. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pain an inch thick.
Oh, that is so What was that?
Do it again.
That's horrible.
1, 2, 3. Pain an inch thick.
Both of you, just try to prove you kind of suck.
But in a good way.
The most important component of them all. You are going to bring this play to a modern context. Bring modern women.
Right. Like, Ophelia, maybe she wants some power, but she doesn't want to lose her femininity. You know, maybe she wants to be like a corporate executive, but she wants to have babies at the same time. Somewhere deep inside her soul, she's just tired of being that wayfish hippie chick, and she just wants to, assert herself and be like, hey, cut the crap, Hamlet. My biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now.
Yeah.
Emotional fun.
So, section C, you just can say that whole.
Yeah, you could say, cut the crap,
Hamlet, my biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now.
All right, give it a try. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Got that crap, man.
to take all these elements and synthesize them deep within your soul. Not like on those little crusty parts on the outside, you know, like deep in there. Like the apples in the apple pie. They're like the best part, right?
Anyways.
Well, okay, we're gonna build this crowd into a giant frenzy. Yeah, frenzy. And then everything will go silent. All attention will go to you. Hey, Molly.
Sorry, just into it.
And then you will let out that scream that epitomizes the feeling. She just can't wait to do it. Okay, let's start with the ego, I guess.
That's you. All right. Remember what we did last time? Wait. Strip. Run. Okay, ready? Go!
Something there, didn't we? Back to Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 2, in which Hamlet discovers conclusive evidence that his uncle murdered his father. Dun dun dun!
Speak the speech I pray you, as I pronounce it to you, trippingly on the tongue. Suit the action to the word, and the word to the action, and hold, as for a mirror, up to nature. Up to nature. Will my lord do this piece of work?
Aye, and the king too, presently.
How now, Hamlet? How is my cousin and my son?
A little more than kin and less than kind.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
Come, sir. Come take a seat to watch the show.
All right. All right. You, get up! I'm the King of Denmark! Get up! Come on the floor! Down!
Royal Peter of Denmark is proud to present the murder of Gonzaga. My lord,
I love this play.
Mono.
Wait, stop! Inappropriate! The wheels on the bus go round.
Intermission. How likes my lord the play?
The lady doth protest too much. Get it? He doesn't get it.
My lord, Act 2.
Gesundheit! Wait. Wait, no! Stop! No! Give over the plane! Give over everything! Oh no! It's Laertes, son of Polonius!
Brother to Ophelia!
And a snappy dresser.
What thanks? Oh, thou vile king, give me back my father. I'll be revenged for Polonius's murder. Ah, now, what noise is this? Dear May, kind sister, sweet Ophelia.
This on the view. Hey, nonny, nonny, hey, nonny, nonny. Hey, nonny, nonny. There you are, my dog. This is acting. Here's roof for you, and for remembrance, I would have given you violets, but they all wilted. When my father died, you jerk! Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
He's back. What do I undertake to show myself my father to...
Wait, what's the next scene with Ophelia?
There are no more scenes with Ophelia.
Come on, I'm up for it.
It's all Shakespeare wrote. Hamlet comes back.
Wait, what happens to her?
She drowns.
Okay.
What would I undertake to show myself my father's son indeed?
Okay,
More
okay,
than in words?
ready.
More than in words? Aye, and to that end I'll anoint my sword with an unction so mortal that where it draws blood, no cataplasm can save the thing from this compulsion. Don't look at me, I have no clue what it means.
This doll had a tongue in it and could sing once. Then came the Jenny Craig Whitlam. Alas, poor York, I knew him. But soft, here comes the queen. Help me a while.
Lay her in the earth, and from her sweet and unpolluted flesh may violet spring.
Sweet to the sweet.
Hold out the earth a while till I've caught her in mine arms once more.
What is he whose emphasis bears such a great emphasis? It is I, Hamlet, the Great Dane! I will fight with him till my eyelids no longer wag. The cat will mew. The dog will have his day! Ruff! 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 Give off the foil.
Come one for me.
Be careful. Swish, click, click, swish, swish, click, click. Look, something to distract you.
Where?
One. Judgment.
A fine hit. Use to thy health, Hamlet. Shrink from this cup.
Nay, such a child, uncle, father, whatever you are. Another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Hamlet, the queen carouses to that fortune.
No, madam, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray thee pardon me.
It is the poison cup.
No.
It is too late.
Come for a third, Laertes. Laertes, go. Repousez. Coupez. Pass away. Disarmez. There. How does the queen?
She swoons to see me.
The cat! The cat! I am poisoned!
Eat your heart out, blank host.
Wow. Oh, villainy! Treachery! Seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Here I run. Why never to rise again? I cannot. The king's to blame.
What? The point in venom too? Then venom to thy work. Hear thou incestuous murderous, cross-dressing Dane! Follow mine!
Forgive me, Hamlet. I am justly killed by mine own treachery.
Heaven make thee free. I follow thee. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mute or audience to this act. If ever thou didst hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. The rest is silence.
Believe it or not, we're still doing this show one more time, so if you like it, tell your friends.
And if you don't, tell your enemies.
You guys, wait. What about like the Passionate Pilgrim or the Lover's Complaint?
Shut up!